Thomas was puffing. He tried to stop. He couldn't stop. Thomas tried to wish. He couldn't wish. He tried to stop again, but he still couldn't stop. And then there was a station master's house. Thomas said, "Oh no, I'm gonna crash," said Thomas. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. A cleaner was filling with his controls. Then Sir Thomas went and he crashed. Debris flew on Thomas, and Thomas was sad. Then the station master's wife saw and she said, "You miserable engine! You crashed into our house while we were doing breakfast. How sad! My breakfast is ruined. Now I have to go make some more, and you ruined our house. Now we'll have to pay for the repairs. You engine!" And she threw the egg on Thomas's face. Thomas was sad. And then she slammed the door and more debris fell on Thomas. Then the station master came and said, "You, Thomas, what happened?" Thomas started to cry. "Explain yourself, Thomas." And Thomas was crying. And then the station master went to telephone Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt came in Donald. And then Sir Topham Hatt told him, "Okay, Donald, you could stop here." Oh, and then said, "Okay, sir." And then Sir Topham Hatt got out of Donald. "Okay, Thomas, explain yourself." And Thomas said, "Sir, it's not my fault. Somebody was messing around with my controls." Thomas didn't know that it was the cleaner who was messing around with his controls. But Thomas didn't know that. And then Thomas, Sir Topham Hatt, "Thomas, your buffers are damaged. You need to go to the works. And there's no engine that could go. There's no engine that could go and work on your branch line. So I have to send a diesel." "A diesel, sir? But last time you sent a diesel, it was..." "Don't tell me it's devious diesel, sir." No, it's not gonna be diesel. It's not gonna be devious diesel. It's gonna be a girl. "A girl? But she'll probably try to scrap all of us engines," said Thomas. No, she won't. She will be working on your branch line," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Okay, now I knew to tell Donald." "Donald?" "Yes, sir." "Donald, go call your brother Douglas so both of you can pull Thomas out of the station master's house." "Yes, sir." "Okay, sir. Well, I'm gonna go call Doogie." "Okay." And Donald went to go. Donald and Douglas both came, and they went to go pull out Thomas. And then they both said, "Thomas, don't worry, we'll get you out." And then they said, "Oh," and Thomas said, "Okay." And then they went. Donald went to a couple in front of Douglas, and Douglas went to go couple in back of Thomas. So they went, and then they pushed him out. And then Sir Topham Hatt went up to Thomas and said, "Thomas, you have knocked down this tree here when you crashed in. And when Donald and Douglas were pulling you out, the tree fell over." And then Thomas was sad. And Sir Topham Hatt said, "You will go to the works immediately. Donald and Douglas will pull you there." "Okay, sir. But first..." "Oh," said Donald and Douglas, "but sir, we're nearly out of coal. We're gonna have to leave Thomas here. But we'll come back in a little bit." "Okay," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Well, I'm gonna have to go get a ride in Donald or Douglas." And then Sir Topham Hatt went to Donald's cab. And then the twins puffed away to get more coal. Then on the siding there were some cars, and the cars were all laughing and yelling. And then they sing a song. Thomas crashed into a station master's house. He came in for some breakfast. Thomas, a really useless engine. More like a really useless engine. Thomas went to go get some breakfast. Thomas, really useless engine. And they all laughed and laughed. All the cars were laughing. and they started singing again. Thomas crashed into a station master's house. Thomas, went to go get some breakfast? Thomas, a really useless engine. And then Thomas cried because he crashed into a station master's house. There was egg on his cheeks. There was a spoon. There was all a bowl, and and his buffers were damaged. Thomas was damaged. Thomas went to go to the works. The twins came and they refueled on coal. Then they went and pulled Thomas out and they brought him to the works.